The forgotten relic, approx. 800 words. The planet was silent. No birds, no wind, no sound. Only the cold air and endless ruins spread out as far as the eye could see. The world was old, long forgotten by time, and no one from Earth had ever stepped foot on it. Until now, Commander Rayan stood in the middle of a broken courtyard, looking up at a massive stone statue. The statue was tall, made of black stone that shimmered slightly in the weak light. It was shaped like a humanoid, but not like any human. Its head was too long, its arms too thin, and its eyes were wide and empty. The locals, those few alien settlers left nearby, called it the Sleeper of 1,000 Years. Rayan's team of explorers moved carefully around the statue. They were wearing simple exploration suits, dust covering their boots. Their ship, the Horizon, was parked on a cliff nearby, ready to leave if things went wrong. But no one expected danger. They thought this place was dead. This place is. Mad chills, said Myra, the youngest member of the crew. She was scanning the walls with a small device, watching for any movement. I don't like it. Rayan laughed softly. Come on, Myra. It's just an old statue. Maybe a god for some long-dead people. Dr. Kellen, the teen's historian, brushed dust off a strange marking at the statue's base. It's more than that, Commander, he said. Look at these. Symbols. They speak of the Prime, a powerful being meant to sleep until called. Called by what? Rayan asked, raising an eyebrow. Kellen shrugged. A sign. A kiss. A word. Who knows? Old cultures had strange rituals. The words made Rayan smile. A kiss, huh? Well, maybe I should wake it up then. Don't. Joke about that, Mira said quickly, her voice sharp. They say this statue's cursed. The last teen that came here disappeared. The locals won't even come near this place. Rayan was known for being bold, sometimes too bold. He chuckled and walked up to the statue. The cold stone face looked down at him, emotionless. Its lips were slightly parted, as if ready to speak. The eyes were empty holes. Well, here goes nothing, Rayan joked, leaning forward. He quickly kissed the statue's lips and then stepped back, laughing. There, the mighty god has been kissed. The others chuckled nervously, though Myra didn't smile. For a few seconds, nothing happened, and then the ground trembled. A faint blue light flickered in the statue's hollow eyes. Mira gasped. Did you see that? I saw it, Kellen whispered, stepping back. The air grew colder. A deep hum filled the room, rising from the very stones beneath their feet. The symbols on the walls began to glow, soft at first, then brighter. Ancient writing appeared along the ground, circling the statue. Rayan's smile faded. What the hell? Without warning, a voice spoke. It was deep, ancient, and it felt like it spoke inside their minds. You have doomed your species. Statue's eyes lit up fully, two shining blue orbs. A crack ran down its face, splitting the stone. The ground shook harder. Dust fell from the ceiling. The team froze in shock. No one moved. What did it say? Mira whispered, her voice shaking. Rayan swallowed hard, his throat dry. I think it said we doomed our species. The lights on the walls grew brighter. Strange symbols floated in the air. A low musical hum filled the room. The statue's head slowly turned toward Rayan, its stone face breaking and reforming like liquid metal. Kellen grabbed Myra's arm. We have to go. Now! But it was too late. A loud, deep sound came from above, like a bell struck in the sky. It echoed through the ruins. Far away, a mountain crumbled back at the horizon. The ship's sensors picked up a massive energy surge coming from the ruins. The pilot, Ren, stared at the flashing lights on the screen. Commander, what's going on down there? I'm reading A planetary-level power spike. No one answered. In the chamber, the voice spoke again. The reckoning begins. And then the entire planet seemed to awaken. The god awakens. Approx. 800 words. The ancient chamber was no longer silent. A loud hum filled the air, vibrating through the walls and into the bones of everyone standing there. Commander Rayan felt his skin crawl as the statue's glowing eyes locked onto him. The strange symbols in the air moved, circling them like a cloud of light. What's happening? Myra shouted, her voice trembling. I don't know. Rayan yelled back, stepping away from the statue. But no matter how far he moved, the statue's gaze seemed to follow him. Dr. Kellen stared at the symbols. It's activating something, he said quietly, his face pale. This isn't a statue anymore. It's a vessel. A vessel for what? Mira asked. Before Kellen could answer, the air above the statue cracked open like glass. A ripple spread through the room, and from the crack, a shimmering figure began to form. It looked like the statue, but made entirely of blue light. Its body was tall, thin, and its face held no emotion. It spoke again. Its voice calm but heavy, like a storm waiting to break. The Prime awakens. Reckoning must begin. The floating figure raised a hand. Light shot from its palm, striking the ceiling. Ancient symbols on the walls lit up in sequence, like a giant machine coming back to life after centuries of sleep. Back on the ship, Ren was watching the energy readings go wild. The power levels were off the charts, far beyond anything the ship had recorded before. Warning lights flashed red. The communication link crackled. Commander, you need to get out of there now. Ren shouted into the mic. The message barely reached them. Static filled the air, cutting through their headsets. Rayan knew staying meant death. Everyone fall back. To the ship. Now. But the alien figure turned toward the exit, raising both hands. The doorway sealed itself with a wall of light. No one could leave. We're trapped. Mira cried. The alien god's voice echoed again. A single kiss, a careless touch, has doomed your kind. The team could barely believe what was happening. A harmless joke had awakened something ancient and powerful. And it wasn't finished, yet Dr. Kellen tried to reason with it. Wait, we didn't mean any harm. We didn't know. The being slowly turned to him. Ignorance is no shield from consequence. Then images flashed in the air. Visions of planets burning, civilizations falling, alien armies crushed by a wave of invisible energy. At the center of it all was the same figure, this ancient god of light and wrath. Mira's knees buckled. Oh no, this thing has destroyed entire galaxies before. It will again. Kellen whispered. Suddenly, a new voice broke through the chamber's hum. It was the AI translator in their suits, picking up an old emergency signal. Words scrolled across their visors. Judgment protocol. Active. In orbit, satellites that had been dead for thousands of years switched on. Massive ancient ships buried under mountains began to stir. The alien god wasn't alone. It had an army, and Earth was now marked. Back on Earth, deep in the Terran High Command, alarms blared. General Arden stared at the holodisplay as hundreds of unknown signals appeared on the edge of the system. Where the hell did those come from? Arden barked. No idea, sir, an officer shouted. They just woke up. A message appeared on the main screen in a language no one had seen before. Reckoning begins. Back in the ruins, the ground shook again. The alien god's voice filled the air one last time. The galaxy will remember this day, the day the humans awakened the Prime. And then the figure shot upward through the ceiling, breaking into the sky like a beam of light. The chamber grew silent again. The hum faded. The doorway reopened, But the damage was done. Rayan looked at his team. They were pale, shaking, and terrified. "We're leaving," he said in a low voice. No one argued. As they rushed back to the horizon, the sky above them shimmered with strange colors. Stars flickered unnaturally. Something ancient and terrible was coming, and humanity had no idea how to stop it. As the ship lifted off, Mira whispered, "What have we done?" No one answered. The curse spreads. Approx. 800 words. The horizon raced through the sky, leaving the cursed planet behind. Commander Rayan sat in the pilot's seat, his hands tight on the controls. No one spoke. The crew's faces were pale, eyes wide with fear. Behind them, the ancient ruins burned with a strange blue fire. The statue was gone, and in its place was a hole stretching deep into the clouds. In orbit, the stars shimmered strangely. Lights blinked where there should have been empty space. It felt like the whole universe was holding its breath. "Status?" Rayan asked, his voice low and sharp. Ren checked the ship's sensors. "Something's wrong, Commander. There's interference everywhere. Communication lines are dead. Long-range scanners aren't working." Mira looked out the window. The stars, they looked different, and they did. Some of them flickered like dying candles, while others pulsed with blue light. Even the ship's AI was struggling to explain what was happening. As the horizon jumped into hyperspace, the true danger began. Across the human colonies on Terra Prime, the capital of Earth's outer colonies, the skies turned a deep, unnatural blue. Birds fell from the sky. Machines stopped working. Entire cities experienced power failures at the same time. In a laboratory, a group of scientists stared at their data screens as numbers twisted and changed on their own. This isn't possible," one whispered. In the distant colony of New Halos, crops withered overnight. The rivers ran black. People woke up with strange marks on their skin, glowing blue symbols they couldn't explain. Children spoke words in a language no one taught them. A single message echoed in their minds: "The Prime is awake." Hospitals filled with people, falling sick for no reason. The sickness was strange. No fever, no injury, but their eyes turned a pale blue, and they whispered to unseen voices. Alien civilizations react in the Galactic Council. Alarms screamed through the great halls. Holograms of human territories lit up in warning colors. Ambassador Yolvik of the Vorsha race stared at the display. "It's happening," he said, his voice shaking. "The reckoning." Another alien leader, a tall, silver-skinned being named Vexen, spoke coldly. "Fools. We told the humans not to disturb the old worlds. They didn't listen. Then leave them to their fate." Within hours, human colonies were cut off. Trade ships turned back. Human ambassadors were removed from the council. Even allies pretended not to know them. One alien general laughed when he heard the news. "The humans have cursed themselves. Let's see how long they last." Back on Earth, at Terran High Command, General Arden stood before the main screen, where a storm of unknown signals flashed. "What are we looking at?" he demanded. An officer turned, pale and sweating. "Sir, we don't know. These aren't normal ships. They aren't even showing up on our fleet recognition systems." Another officer shouted, "Sir, I'm getting reports from every colony. Systems failing, crops dying, strange symbols appearing on people's skin." Arden slammed his fist on the table. "Get me Commander Rayan." "We've lost contact, sir." Arden's face hardened. "Then find him." But deep down, he knew it was already too late. A New Hope on an old research station, hidden near the edge of human space. A woman named Dr. Ilara Voss sat alone in her lab. She was a historian and linguist, once laughed at for studying ancient alien myths. Now, those myths were real. She looked at the glowing symbols appearing on her screen, the same ones appearing across the colonies. She translated them slowly. Judgment is at hand. Salvation lies in the forgotten star. Her heart raced. The forgotten star, she whispered. It was a name from ancient stories, a place so dangerous that even ancient civilizations feared it. Elara knew she had to act fast. She sent a message through an old emergency channel, hoping it would reach someone, anyone, to all human forces. I have a way to stop the Prime. Find me before it's too late. On board the Horizon, as the ship traveled through hyperspace, Mira suddenly cried out. A strange mark had appeared on her hand, the same blue symbol seen across the colonies. Rayan saw it and felt his stomach drop. Mira, what's happening to you? I don't know, she whispered, her eyes filling with tears. It burns. Then she looked at him, and for a second, her eyes glowed blue. A message filled the ship's screen. Judgment approaches. The crew stared at one another in silence. The curse was no longer just on the planets. It was inside them. And the Prime was coming. The hunt for the forgotten star. Approx. 800 words. The Horizon dropped out of hyperspace with a sudden jolt. The crew stumbled as alarms blared. The stars outside flickered like dying embers. Space itself seemed wrong, darker, heavier, as if watching them. Commander Rayon gripped the controls, his face pale. Status report. Ren checked the panels. We've been pulled off course, Commander. By something? A gravity well? Rayon asked. No, sir. It's not natural. Before anyone could speak, the ship's emergency channel crackled to life. A message blinked on the main screen. It was old, almost forgotten, but the name made Rayon's heart race. Dr. Elara. VAS, Priority Code Omega. Her face appeared, tired and desperate. Static broke her words, but the message was clear. If you're seeing this, the Prime has awakened. You must find the forgotten star. It's the only hope. The message cut off. Mira clutched her arm. The strange mark on her skin burned brighter. I feel it. It's pulling us. Dr. Kellen leaned closer. The forgotten star isn't a myth. It's real. An ancient place, older than the galaxy. The Prime was locked away there once before. And now we have to find it, Rayan said grimly. A deadly galaxy, as the Horizon made its way through uncharted space. The galaxy fell into chaos. Alien fleets gathered on the edges of human space. Massive ships like floating cities armed for war. Some alien commanders wanted to strike first, to wipe out the humans before the curse spread further. Others chose to flee. Entire planets went dark. Trade routes vanished. Human colonies begged for help, but no one came. Even Earth was cut off. Defenses barely holding against invisible forces, tearing through technology and minds alike. The name, the Prime, was spoken in hushed, terrified voices. A trap in the void, 2 days into their journey. The Horizon passed through a strange nebula. Blue mist curled around the ship. Strange whispers filled the air, though no one spoke them. Did you hear that? Mira asked, her voice shaking. I heard it too. Ren muttered. The whispers grew louder. The ship's lights dimmed. Suddenly, a massive shadow appeared ahead. A giant alien vessel, old and broken, but still deadly. Its shape was strange, not made by human hands. Dr. Kellen's face went pale. That's an ancient Devourer-class ship. They were built by the Prime's followers thousands of years ago. And it's still active, Rayan said. The alien ship sent a signal, not words, but a simple message burned into their screens. Turn back. The reckoning belongs to you. Weapons powered up. They're going to fire. Ren shouted. No, they're not. Rayan growled. He slammed the throttle, pushing the Horizon into a dangerous dive, weaving through broken asteroids. The ancient ship fired beams of blue light, missing them by inches. The crew held their breath. As they escaped into a narrow asteroid field, the alien ship didn't follow. Mira's mark dimmed. They were a warning. She whispered a forgotten map in. Quiet after the escape, Dr. Kellen checked the ship's archives. Deep in old Terran files marked as folklore, he found a map. It wasn't complete, but it showed a path toward a dead star system, one without a name, known only as the Forgotten Star. It's there, Kellen said, the place where the Prime was sealed. But why didn't they destroy it? Wren asked. Because they couldn't, Kellen replied. The Prime isn't just a being. It's a force. Death, hunger, judgment. The ancients could only trap it. And now we have to finish what they started, Rayon said. The final. Warning before they could set a course. The ship's sensors screamed. A fleet of unknown ships had appeared behind them, cutting off their escape. Dozens of ancient warships, silent and cold, powered by ancient technology. They're his guardians, Kellen said. A voice filled the ship, the same deep, ancient voice they heard in the ruins. You run toward your end, human. The Forgotten Star is a grave. Enter and be destroyed. The crew exchanged looks. I'd rather die fighting, Mira said, her eyes fierce. So would I. Rayan agreed. Wren set the course dot as the horizon turned toward the dead star system. Space itself seemed to close in around them, but the crew knew one thing. There was no turning back, and at the heart of the darkness, something was waiting. The Forgotten Star awakens. Approx. 800 words. The Forgotten Star wasn't a star anymore. When the horizon dropped out of hyperspace, the crew saw a black, lifeless sphere floating in space. No light, no heat, just darkness. Its surface cracked, like old glass, with strange blue energy leaking from inside around it. Broken remains of ancient ships drifted in silence. Some were alien. Some were older than any race known in the galaxy. And one thing was clear, they had all died trying. To keep something trapped here, Commander Rayan stared at it through the ship's window. So, this is the place. Dr. Kellen swallowed hard. The ancient records called it the Tomb of the Prime. Mira shivered. The mark on her hand burned again. I feel it. It's watching us. Wren checked the ship's readings. Massive energy signatures coming from inside that star. It's unstable. Then we'd better move fast, Rayan said. A door in the darkness as the ship approached the surface. They spotted a single opening, a massive, ancient gate floating in space, wide enough to swallow entire cities. Blue symbols glowed around. I don't like this, Mira muttered. I'm not sure we have a choice. Rayan replied. They guided the horizon through the gate, entering a massive hollow space inside the dead star. The walls shimmered with strange energy. Pieces of broken planets and ancient ships floated everywhere. At the center was a structure, a massive alien temple, built like a cage. Blue chains of light wrapped around it, holding something inside. Dr. Kellen gasped. That's where the Prime is. A voice echoed through the chamber. At last, you come to witness the end. The horrifying truth inside the temple. The air was thick with ancient power. Symbols along the walls told a story. Dr. Kellen translated aloud. The Prime was not a god. It was a weapon, created by a long-forgotten race to destroy entire civilizations. But it became too powerful. It killed its own creators and nearly wiped out the galaxy. He moved to the next wall. They trapped it here, sealed by life-bonded chains. And here's the worst part. To keep the chains strong, it needed new bloodlines, a sacrifice from other species. That's why it marked Mira. Myra's face went pale. You mean it's using me? To break free? Yes, Kellen said. And every human marked by the curse is connected to these chains. The Prime has been spreading the curse so it can weaken the bonds and escape. Rayan's jaw tightened. And if it does? Kellen read the final symbol. His voice cracked. Then it will consume everything. The stars, the planets, life itself. A desperate plan. Rayan turned to Ren. Can we fire the ship's weapons at the temple? Won't work, Ren replied. Those walls are absorbing energy. It's like trying to drown a fish. Myra stepped forward. Then we break thee. Curse another way. If I'm the link, then maybe I can stop it. No, Rayan said sharply. We find another way. There is no other way. Mira snapped. The Prime's voice filled the temple. Yes, human. You see it now. Sacrifice yourself, or watch your world burn. The ground trembled. The chains of light cracked. A huge hand of blue energy pushed against the cage from inside. They were running out of time. Ilara's message returned suddenly. The ship's AI picked up an old signal. It was Dr. Alara Voss. Her message was weak, but clear. There's a device buried beneath the temple, built by the ancients. It can banish the Prime forever, but it requires a life willingly given. Not a victim, a hero. Mira looked at Rayan, tears in her eyes. You know it has to be me. No, Rayan said, his voice breaking. We're not losing you. You won't, she whispered. You'll be saving everyone. The chains cracked again. They had seconds left. Myra turned, running toward the heart of the temple as the others fought to hold back the energy blasts. The final stand begins. Rayan shouted orders. Ren, keep the ship ready. Kellen, help her find that device. They ran together as debris fell from the ceiling. Blue lightning tore through the air. Mira's mark glowed brighter, guiding her to a strange ancient platform in the center. She placed her hand on it. The Prime's voice screamed, No, you belong to me. Myra looked back at Rayan, smiling through her fear. Tell Earth we fought. A blinding light exploded from the platform. The reckoning's end, approx. 800 words. The light from the platform exploded like a sun trapped inside the hollow star. Blue energy rushed across the temple, tearing ancient stone apart. The chains of light shattered one by one as the Prime's prison cracked open. Myra stood. At the heart of it all, her hand pressed against the ancient device. Her body glowed, the mark on her skin burning brighter than ever. The Prime's voice filled the space, louder, angrier, desperate. Stop. This is not your fate, human. You are nothing. You belong to me. Myra didn't move. Her eyes were calm. Now the fear was gone. Commander Rayan and Dr. Kellen fought to stay on their feet as the ground shook. Ren's voice came through the communicator. Commander, the entire structure is collapsing. You have to get out now. Rayan looked toward Myra. Not without her. She knew what she was doing, Kellen said softly. Rayan's heart ached, but deep down he knew the truth. The final confrontation. The Prime's form began to appear, a towering figure made of pure blue energy. Its eyes like twin suns. Its voice 1,000 voices speaking at once. It reached for Mira, its hand stretching across the chamber. But as it touched the light around her, the ancient device reacted. A massive pulse of golden energy burst out, striking the Prime's hand. The creature screamed, pulling back. "No, I am eternal." The device spoke in a language none of them understood, but its meaning was clear. A sacrifice freely given. Ends the reckoning. The golden light wrapped around Mira, lifting her gently into the air. She looked at Rayan one last time and smiled. "Remember, U.S.," she whispered. The light burst outward. The Prime falls. The golden energy swept through the entire star, striking the Prime's form, tearing it apart. Its screams echoed across space, across time itself. The ancient chains reformed, this time made of pure golden light, binding what was left of the creature, and dragging it deep into the heart of the dead star. The entire system shook as if the universe itself was sealing a wound. Then, silence. The blue glow faded. The prime was gone. The aftermath. Horizon barely made it out as the dead star collapsed in on itself. The ancient temple vanished. The broken ships and debris swallowed by the void dot back in open space. The stars returned to their natural light. The strange flickering stopped. The marks on human skin faded. Sick people woke, the whispers gone from their minds. On Earth and across the colonies, ships picked up the same message, broadcast from deep space. The reckoning is ended. The prime has fallen. Humanity lives. Alien fleets that had gathered to destroy Earth turned away in silence. Some left messages of uneasy respect. Others disappeared, knowing they had witnessed a legend in the making. A hero remembered in the days that followed. Stories spread of Myra Solis, the woman who stood against a god. Statues were raised, songs were written. Her name joined the ancient records of those few across the galaxy who had faced impossible horrors. And one, Commander Rayan, stood at her memorial on Earth, looking up at her face carved in stone. She saved us all, he whispered. Dr. Kellen nodded, and proved what the old story said was true. Humans, we don't run. A new beginning, though. The prime was sealed. The galaxy would never forget what happened. Ancient forces still lurked in the dark corners of the stars. But now, when other species spoke of humans, it wasn't with fear or pity. It was with respect. They remembered the species that dared to wake a god, and then defeat it. A last message far beyond the edge of known space. A single light floated in the void. It was Mara, or what was left of her. A faint, golden figure watching over the sealed star. She smiled, her voice a gentle whisper in the empty. Dark, we'll be ready if you ever wake again. And then the light faded into the endless stars. The end.